How many of you can draw? Raise your hands. If I had asked this question to a bunch of 5-year-olds, each one of them would have immediately raised up a hand, maybe even two. As children, we all were artists. With our crayons in hand, we could translate our world into pages and walls full of stories and scribbles. Drawing was the easiest way for us to communicate our ideas, our observations, our feelings. As we grew older, drawings were replaced by words and numbers. And drawing began to be seen as a hobby, something we do only if we think we're good at it. But drawing is not about aesthetics. Rather, it is a tool to see better, to understand better, and to communicate better. Drawing for me is a powerful language to connect with nature and a vital tool for nature education and conservation. When we find something interesting, our first instinct today is to grab our phone and take a picture of it. But do we ever really go back to look at that picture? Do we ever really look at the details? Try using a sketchbook instead. A sketchbook is a much more immersive way of looking at the world, as you consciously make each mark on your page. Picture this. You're in a garden, looking up at an interesting tree. You pick up your sketchbook and you try to draw it. As your pencil moves, you begin to notice every curve, every spot, every imperfection that makes that tree unique. As Michael Taussig, citing John Berger, says, "A line drawn is important not for what it records, so much as what it leads you on to see." Because you're drawing the tree, you're actually looking at it much more deeply than before. But you're not just drawing the tree, you're building a connection with it. And this connection fosters a profound shift. You spend time and attention on it, and it is no longer a blur of green in the background. The tree you once saw with indifference now becomes a friend, a neighbor in the shared biosphere. We begin to understand its life, its struggles, even its personality. And this newfound empathy leads to a fierce need to protect and nurture it, and to ensure its survival. This is the power of drawing as a bridge to nature. It's not about creating masterpieces, but about opening a window to the world around you. As you train your eyes to look at nature, the world around you explodes in wonder. We begin to notice new things. Birdsong starts sounding like a concert. The gnarled branches of a tree look like an intricate sculpture. Dewdrops on a spider web look like tiny diamonds. The mundane becomes magnificent. We cultivate a sense of awe, of responsibility, of belonging. Over the last 2 years, I have nurtured a passion called nature journaling. Nature journaling takes this connection to the next level by combining drawing with writing and thinking. It's not just about capturing the visual, but also recording our observations, our questions, our feelings, prompted by our experience in nature. This deeper engagement creates a richer, more long-lasting memory. Nature journaling is a vital tool for environment education. Imagine a group of children huddled around a pond with their sketchbooks in hand. They don't need complex scientific terms to understand the way tadpoles move, the way water droplets form on a lily leaf, or the way moss grows on a rock. Their drawings become a conversation, a shared experience that fosters curiosity, empathy, and a sense of responsibility. They will remember this experience each time they look at that sketchbook page. Forget textbooks and lectures. This is a much more effective way of ensuring a generation that loves, respects, understands, and is keen to protect nature. Nature journaling isn't just about personal growth. It also contributes valuable data to conservation efforts. It makes us citizen scientists, documenting species populations, monitoring changes, identifying vulnerabilities. Our sketchbook can be a powerful tool for advocacy, raising awareness and inspiring action to protect the world that we live in. After all, a drawing can be understood by so many more people than a 10-page jargon-filled research paper. Drawing is a language, just like the spoken word or written text. Drawing is a language that transcends the barriers of age, of culture, and even literacy. And through this language, we can share the wonder that we witness. For 2024, I made a calendar that had illustrations of the wildlife of India's national parks. This is the page for January. One of the creatures in this scene is a white-bellied tree pie. Thanks to this illustration, I've had friends notice rufous tree pies around their homes and enthusiastically send me pictures saying, "Look, I found a bird like the one you drew." This is the page for December, based in my own city, Mumbai. Thanks to this illustration, my friends have realized that there are 3 types of monkeys in Mumbai. And the easiest way to differentiate between the 2 macaque species is the way their hair is styled. I've worked with the State Forest Department to create a book called Living with Leopards. The aim of this book was to create a shift in the portrayal of leopards, from the media narrative of ferocious man-eating beasts to showing them as co-citizens of Mumbai, adapting and surviving in this metropolis. The illustrations had a major role to play in this regard. This is one of my favorite illustrations from the book. It shows a leopard that had her cubs in an abandoned shed near the IIT Bombay campus. This picture reminds me of the fact that we have taken over their homes, and they are trying their best to adapt and survive. When I'm journaling in my local public garden, a lot of people stop to look and see what I'm doing. And that's a great thing, because then I can nudge them to see it too. I live next to a mangrove forest, and showing them the variety of life in my sketchbook pages sparks interesting discussions. It makes them realize the ecological significance of the mangroves, an area they normally consider a waste of space. It's such a joy to see that drawings can make people notice nature around them. And this nudge to notice nature, to find joy in its wonder, is a much more effective call to climate action than scary visions of doom. As children, we learned about the environment in closed classrooms, in pin-drop silence, through textbooks that spoke about extinctions, global warming, the hole in the ozone layer, things that we felt were too big and scary, and we were too insignificant to do anything about it. Instead, if we focus on the smaller picture, the intimate connection between our human selves and the nature we can see and feel directly, we'll be better equipped to make decisions that will protect the magic we've experienced. With more people connecting to nature through the act of drawing and journaling, conserving nature will become an act of love. After all, a whisper of awe has more power than the clamor of doom. Thank you.